A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all. Until... he landed in the Divine Dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the two women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Presentation.
Welcome to Lime Rock Park, baby. It's finally time to go truck racing here at the short track of road courses. The real NASCAR drivers are going to do it this season, so why don't Max V hop on the trend? It is round number 13 of the first season of 2025 for the Maximum Velocity CNC Home Designs Truck Series. Welcome in to our first ever NASCAR truck race here at one of my favorite road course racing venues. It's the boys, as always, here on a Thursday night. It is Tommy Cook and Joshua Motichek. Boy, how did we get resized? We'll blow us up right there. Mr. Motichek, welcome to Lime Rock Park. Man, this is going to be a very interesting race here tonight, filled with equal parts great racing, lots of wheeling, and probably lots of crashing, too.
Yeah, definitely taking the best of the best circle guys and making them turn right. So it's always going to be interesting, especially nonetheless at a iconic track like Lime Rock.
There you see a look at the track map. We'll take a lap around here in just a second. It is hot, hot, hot. Track temperature into the triple digits and was 115 degrees just a moment ago. Light cloud cover going to roll in and out here today. Just under a mile and a half. And only a handful of turns, but they are all treacherous here at Lime Rock Park. We'll take you into the action here and fade out the music. Let's take a look at the point standings before we get too deep into the festivities here at Lime Rock Park. 3 more rounds to go, including tonight, before we set the chase field. The magic number you want to be at above the cut line tonight is 147. If you can leave Lime Rock Park 147 above the cut line, you are through to the postseason. No questions asked. Of course, according to our unofficial calculations here, nothing is official until we get to say so. But by our math, that's the number you want to beat. Looking at that crop of drivers right now, hovering around the top 5 in the points, you would think all of them would have a pretty good shot to leave Lime Rock Park with a chase berth secured. But the word on the street is that the driver atop the standings is not here tonight.
Yeah, Justin Michael, new to the series for me, but Justin Michael, I have heard, is not a super big fan of turning right. So I guess no surprise that we don't see him. But being his spot in the points, he's got to feel pretty safe up there on top.
Certainly will be feeling pretty good. Drivers on the right side of the graphic, a little bit less so, but some space between Will Kirk and Mark Jackson there in 12th and 13th. Road course is always going to throw some of these drivers a bit into some upheaval. As let's go on board with our good friend, and the road courses always bring out a little bit of a mixed-up grid. JJ Wang on a Thursday night here. Winner a couple of weeks ago, with the ASRL Sports Car Championship. He's a one-time podium finisher in Truck 200 at the Charlotte Roval, and he is here giving it a go. So we're already through the first 2 turns. You can see already this hot track surface. He is slipping and sliding. They call those turns the left-hander and the right-hander, as now we are headed to the uphill. There's this little chicane you could take to the right, but that is not where we're going today. We're going up the hill. Big air time. 4 tires, or at least the chassis, lifted way up off the ground there in a negative G situation. Just like that, you're headed back down the hill. You're going to grab a gear here out of the final turn, down the Sam Posey straight. And it's a sub 1 minute lap here. 66 laps is the distance here tonight at Lime Rock Park. Here are the first 2 turns, just in case you missed them the first time. Very weird, flat-ish on the front half of the lap, and oops, all hills on the back half. I mean, we're getting our first looks at it in a truck. I would imagine most people are. I know you're still getting the ins and outs in iRacing here. You've obviously got a pretty good handle on the truck, but what is a lap around this course like from the driver's seat?
Feels like ice, is basically all I have to say. The trucks definitely don't like turning right, but on a road course, they don't even like turning left either. Especially here at Lime Rock with the elevation changes and the latter part of the lap. I would not be surprised to see maybe a few people losing it up the hill just when the truck gets super light. If you're on throttle just a little bit too much, it is not difficult to lose it at all.
So Scott Patton has boarded his second lap. He is the only driver in the field tonight that has won a road course race. In the Max v CNC Home Designs Truck Series. All the other wins belong to Ashton Crowder and as well as Andrew Schultz. Patton snuck in the most recent road course victory. This is the first time we've done the left and rights all season, even though technically there's only 1 left turn on this course. Regardless, though, Patton, the most recent road course winner at Watkins Glen last season. James Lehman is pretty sporty on the road courses. He is quickly becoming a like one of the Swiss Army drivers here on the channel as we take a look at Matt Sisseler out on the track. His qualifying run is already complete. He is 14th fastest. Sisseler dropped from 4th to 6th in the standings last week. Still pretty tightly bunched up there just outside of the top 5, but a little slip there for the 93. As you can see, up over the hill there, that truck gets super light. I love the flow of this racetrack, especially if you nail a lap around here. Man, there is no better feeling than that. The thing I will say, though, and something I think a lot of these drivers are probably going to be concerned about, I mean, upwards of 30 drivers on this starting grid. There's plenty of grass to go through. The track surface is not super wide, but these drivers are going to be slipping and sliding around. I mean, contact is inevitable. And with this new low downforce, kind of damage-sensitive truck, that's not going to be a very reassuring feeling for a lot of these drivers.
No, definitely not. Typical for Max V, but no fast repairs, and damage is always on here. So I mean, you get bumper crushed in, or wheel damage or whatnot, and you might be sitting in the pits for a little while.
There is Mark Jackson. He is, oddly enough, 17 points below the cut line as they sit for driver 17. He bends the truck there. Sisler just making laps here. This is lap number 4 on his 2-lap qualifying attempt. I think they'd give you the black flag if you just kept making laps after your qualifying run.
I mean, in dirt racing, we do.
Inside a minute to go. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. We've already got over 20 people watching. I think a lot of people are excited to see how this one is going to play out. Shout out to the Motichek gang as always. Shout out to Bailey Marie. Shout out to Greg Mall as well, hanging out with us here tonight. He is going to start inside the top 10. Your teammate from last night got his first ASRL victory. Damian Dania hanging out in the chat with us. Very excited. He's specifically shouting out you. I'm also here. Hello. But certainly Joshua up here in the booth, and he's cheering on JJ as well. And Caleb Tipton cheering on Justin Bell. Bell will start outside the top 20, but I think any result is on the table as long as you could survive the first couple laps and potentially just make it to the stage.
Yeah, definitely. Stage is going to be on the end of lap 17. But honestly, road course racing is almost anybody's game as much as super speedway racing is.
Lots of unknowns here tonight at Lime Rock Park, the first time we've ever taken stock cars here to the track. It's James Lehman who will lead the first road course race of the year to green, with Tyler Hesseling to his outside. Dakota Floyd, last week's race winner, will start in third with Zach Saunders to his outside. Matt Schlosser, multi-time road course winner in multiple different cars, including this truck. He starts in fifth with Scott Patton and Max V, road course winner, starting to his outside in sixth. Ryan Nardone and your reigning series champion Greg Mull on row 4. Rob Haynes, JJ Wang will round out the top 10 starters. Teet Smith and Matt Montebault on row 6. Matt Rodolasso and Matt Sisseler on row number 7. The Society of Matt's eating well there. Riley Laverne and Jack Watts on row 8. Chris Sargent, Nathan Carroll, Caden Moreland, and Rod Midden is down there in the 20th position. Justin Bell, Ryan McRoberts on row 11. Brad Slagle, Charlie Widener on row 12. Chris Bradley, Mark Jackson, Billy Bumgardner, Trent Drum, Bill Paradise, and Wally Turheimer through the top 30. Rest of the starting lineup with Zachary Groover and Chris Voiles on row 16. Brandon Veese, Peyton Bass, Kyle Kabash, and Justin Ritchie, 36. And you can see how tight they are on the grid. Of course, this is not a standing start, but I mean, they are packed in like sardines here, waiting to get after it here at Lime Rock Park.
Yeah, that is quite definitely a very long line of trucks down that front stretch.
Trucks are getting ready to roll here. James Lehman. We're going to have to make a full lap here under pacing. I was in a league one time where we accidentally did a standing start at the Charlotte Roval, and it went about as well as you could imagine it did.
I can just picture everybody instantly sliding sideways down the hill.
Yeah. Pretty much.
As far as race information goes for today, it is still your typical Max V race. We are looking at 3 extra sets of tires no fast repairs as mentioned earlier. Although I am not sure if we are running an incident limit, as that would include off tracks. However, 70% fuel will put the fuel window around lap 37 or so. So 66 laps being the full distance, they will have to make at least one green flag pit stop. The stage break will be at the end of lap 17, and it will be our only caution of the night.
Yeah, that is what we were passed down from race control. Usually, most truck leagues, when they run road courses, will save the yellow flag for the mother of all messes. Certainly, we're guaranteed a caution tonight on lap 17. To sit outside of that, that's the only one. Yeah, we'll see if J.J. Wang, I think he combo broke himself last night at Sonoma. I don't think we could see the big turn one moves anymore. But maybe we're wrong. We'll see what he can do from row 5. We'll see what James Lehman and Tyler Hesseling have at the front of this field. Getting ready for 66 laps at Lime Rock Park. Max V is underway.
Oh, JJ already onto the grass. Lots of bumping and banging.
3 wide. Floyd up the inside. Hesseling, Saunders. Going to be the big loser here around the outside match. Schlosser going to get through. Into the left-hander we go. Pretty clean through the first handful of turns here. Lehman going to lead him up the jump.
Floyd looking underneath. Can't quite get alongside.
And down the hill we go. Forgot my turn numbers there when I went for the Staticam. Oh, Lehman, big time loose there out of the final turn. And Floyd is going to have a run into the first turn here on lap 2. I don't think he's quite going to take it here. Hesseling also closed up, sent it a bit long there into the first turn. And here is Schlosser looking to find his way through. Maybe, if he doesn't get a helping hand from Zach Saunders first. Oh, little shuffling there into turn number 1. Peyton Bass around. Chris Voiles, I think, got a piece of that as well. Back to the front we go. Talk about how greasy.
Out of line. Not sure if he got loose there.
Let's say you talk about how greasy and hot this track surface is, and the weightlessness feeling that you get coming over that hump. That does not help that feeling whatsoever. As soon as that car plants its weight back down, you're in for a wild feeling, especially if you're not loving the handle on the truck.
Yeah, definitely. We talk all the time about the way that the truck unloads on ovals when you get it off to the side, but that definitely does not change here on a road course, just because you're meant to turn right as well.
Missed him a bit earlier. Shout out to Mike Milfeld hanging out with us here tonight. Wish you were out on the track. Hopefully enjoying the show here regardless. Schlosser trying to give Hesseling the runaround here. You see Scott Patton got almost there to the inside of the white line, trying to save that truck over the hump.
Yeah, that hump is no joke.
Schlosser 2 wheels off into the grass, and this is going to set up Zach Saunders with a run into 1.
Saunders going to make it. Schlosser looked to cross him over.
Man, I thought
just not enough room.
I thought Saunders was going in there hot. He was diving deep to the inside to try and cover off the challenge from Schlosser, but I'm surprised he made that stick as well as he did.
Yeah, it was a very well executed pass there on the inside.
Riley Laverne just went off the track. All 4 corners look okay on that truck, but he did lose a handful of positions there. As there's Wally Turheimer off in turn number 1. James Lehman right now with just a couple of truck length lead over Dakota Floyd. This is one of our big question marks that we had remaining for Dakota Floyd in his first season with Max V. This is our first road course race. I'd say he's pretty good. He's here with Lehman battling for the lead. As you saw big move further back there. That was J.J. Wang. I don't think making a move so much as trying to save that truck, and he is absolutely wheeling and dealing here. 2-spot swing for Rob Haynes. He drops back to 12th. Montalbot and Rodolasso are through. Esseling's still in 3rd here. Zach Saunders 4th. Schlosser 5th. Ryan Nardone in 6th. As Nardone, a little upset over the hill there. Sub 1 minute laps. Traffic going to come up here pretty quickly, I would imagine. And, thanks for stopping by, Damian. Appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you back on Wednesday nights here in a couple weeks. We'll see if we can make it through this lap. Lap 6 of 66 on the board. We'll see who's feeling a little cursed here on this circuit. Might be Heath Smith as Jack Watts muscles underneath of him. And we'll take 13th away. Making the pass for 13th on lap 6 of 66. That has disaster written all over it. The left front cam of Tyler Hesseling. You see just how much that rear end is talking for Dakota Floyd. Hesseling closing it up under braking.
Yeah, little small gap forming for Lehman here. About half a second. We talk about the fuel window here on a road course, but how do the tires hang on, especially around a track like this where there's so many elevation changes that just entice the rears to slide?
Definitely these drivers will, in the final stage, have to make a stop for fuel, but I think you're right in the fact that most of these drivers are going to strategize around getting 4 fresh tires on this truck rather than fuel. I think the wear will fall off at some point, but certainly it's not going to be fun getting to that point. Lehman now will have some lap traffic ahead.
We talked about how skinny this track was.
And this is maybe the worst place to catch. That's Peyton Bass. Ooh. Right in that little left-hand kink. Not really a turn per se, but a flick of the steering wheel is required. And look at this. Floyd is going to take advantage. He dives to the inside. But now, look at this. Hesseling is going to get the run down the hill after Floyd had to roll out of it. And if Hesseling nailed his exit there, he may have a look into turn 1. Not quite.
Yeah, Hesseling not quite as close to Floyd as he needs. Especially looking in the mirror and seeing Saunders right there on top of him as well.
The first time we've seen Zach Saunders in a few weeks. I think one of the Matt Williamson special races. He was up on the podium, I believe, finishing in the runner-up position. I couldn't tell you what track. I don't remember now. But we've not seen him since then, and he is picked right back where he is left off, running inside the top 5.
There's Kyle Kabash going a lap down. Again, in another very uncomfortable spot.
And he does a nice job staying to the right side of the track. Peyton Bass did everything that he could do as well. That is just literally one of the 2 worst spots to be caught on the track by oncoming traffic.
Saunders underneath Hesseling into turn 1. That's going to open the door for Schlosser to follow him through. Now Schlosser and Hesseling side by side.
I think Matt going to get hung out there now. Has to play defense with Nardone and Patton coming up behind.
Oh, with the lap truck in the way as well. Almost 3 wide.
That was a little tight.
going to open up a little bit of a gap between your top 5. Not quite as close as they have been for the beginning of this race.
Yeah, Lehman with his biggest lead of the race now, 1.2 seconds back to Floyd. Floyd, nice gap opening up out of the final turn. Back to Saunders. Saunders with 0.8 back to Hesseling. Hesseling with 7 back to Schlosser. It's the fun about road courses. Lots of unfamiliar names towards the front of the field. Quite a few part-time drivers, a lot of the ARCA drivers from Monday nights over on the Virtual Grip Network making their appearances here with the Truck Series. Feels like a real NASCAR race where they bring in the ringers and let them eat.
And watching Patton come over that hill, just about every time he gets squirrely and has to move to the left, or to the right rather. It's Brandon V's now in front of Floyd, about to go a lap down. Floyd gonna have to hit the grass a little bit.
Wiesel try and stay tucked to the right side of the track. Oh, Brad Slagle is off. Looks like he's nosed into the barriers. He's one of those drivers that could use a good night tonight in his pursuit to get above the cut line. He's going to blend in now, 1 lap down. Lehman going by. And Floyd and Saunders to follow as Saunders is making his move. Nice and tidy there for Saunders. He is up to second.
Yeah, usually on road courses, you see a lot of crisscross, a lot of crossing over. But if you can get it woed up on the bottom into one and keep it there, there's just no room for that outside driver to make that crossover and have the momentum coming out of the corner.
Not without a little rubbing and maybe a little racing. But certainly rubbing. Somebody just blew up. Hoping it wasn't J.J. Wang, and it's not, but he did go off the track, and he's under fire from Matt Montalban. I think it was probably just somebody in the pits, if I had to wager a guess.
And JJ is sliding all the way through turn 1. And we mentioned track temperature at the beginning of the race, but it looks like the track temp is up into the 120-degree mark.
Oh, God, that is just miserable.
I'm gonna go crack me a few eggs on pit road.
Yeah, no kidding. It's the closest battle we got on track right now. Matt Rodolasso, Matt Montalban battling for the final stage point. Montalban and Rodolasso both part-time this season.
Oh,
Mixing
V's
it up
off
with
track.
Brandon V's there.
Gonna put Montalban on the outside. Not the preferred line, but they're still side by side through the S's.
That is tough to pull off, being side by side that whole time. And now Rodolasso gonna finish it off, maybe. Huge snap of the rear of that truck. They'll continue to battle. We'll head back up as Matt Schlosser is getting close to Tyler Hesseling, or he was a minute ago. And Zach Saunders catching James Lehman had at least 2 tires off the track there last lap as well, with 2 to go in the stage. But it's still catching him. Floyd hanging tough here as well. Again, Lehman and Floyd are looking to lock into the postseason with just a decent run tonight. And this is certainly more than decent up to this point.
Yeah, Floyd definitely showing out in his first season with Max V.
One more lap to go in the stage. Lehman has led every lap thus far, but Saunders continues to inch his way closer and closer. And it's really only Lehman and Floyd until you get back to Patton racing for stage points here. So first, third, 7th, 8th. And that's it as Saunders. I mean, that was a 4-wheel slide, and it cracks the door open for Floyd now. Into the final 2 turns. I think Saunders has good enough drive out, but you talk about tire wear, you talk about a hot track, that was it right there. Lehman to the stripe. He will button up a flag-to-flag stage victory. Nicely done for him. Saunders in 2nd. Floyd, Hesseling, Schlosser the top 5, and Nardone in 6th. There's Patton 7th. Greg Mall in 8th. J.J. Wang and Matt Rodalasso are going to round out the top 10 as we're under the caution. We're under the only caution.
Not too much shaking up there in the top 10 or even the top 20, really.
2 biggest movers of the race in the forward direction anyway. Zachary Groover has gone up 8 spots from 31st to 23rd. And Rod Mitten has jumped up 4 positions from 20th to 16th. Mitten all of a sudden has gone from not even being on the points graphic to being almost a full race ahead of the cut line. So he would like to continue that trend and pick up a few more spots by the end of this race. He'll have plenty of time to do just that. Bill Paradise also up 5 spots. So that's the People's Champ up to 24th. And the last driver on the lead lap should be Billy Bumgardner. Getting the lucky dog here, which would give us 25 on the lead lap. As you might have guessed, everybody's down pit road.
It's like everyone gets in tidy, doesn't pull a Motichek and slide through.
I think tidy may be a bit of an understatement. These drivers are crammed in to pit road just like they were on the starting grid. Race off, Lehman wins, Saunders 2nd, Floyd. Schlosser will pick up a spot. Hesseling loses 2, Nardone beats him out. Mall beats out Patton. Wang and Montembolt the top 10. Rodalasso going to lose quite a few spots as Montembolt, Haynes, and Laverne beat him out. Okay.
Man, looking at... You mentioned how tight it was on pit road. Nardone was slightly inside of the rear bumper of Patton
Yeah.
while they were both in their stalls.
And I think they did make a little bit of contact on pit road, just trying to get in there, which is understandable given how close they were. I mean, they were crammed in there. So you see ahead of James Lehman, there is one truck there. That is Wally Turheimer. It was foregone his pit stop. And will get himself back onto the lead lap. So that will give us 26. Now, Wally going to be on his own strategy here, but presumably, gosh, we're going to restart on lap 21. So that will give us, what, a 46 lap run to the checkers. Are you going 23-23? Are you looking to go a little bit long in stint 1 here and give yourself a little respite in the final in the final section of this race? Because everybody has to pit. There's not a question about that. But when do you make that move?
I mean, if it's the ideal scenario, you want to split it as close to halfway as you can. That being said, we are getting later and later into the day, so the track temp should be coming down. We're back down to 116 now, which is still very high, but not as outrageous as it was earlier. So if it's me, I almost want to say that I cut the first stint just a little bit short and play off of the cooling temperatures to give myself a little bit more tire wear in that last stint.
I hope you're taking notes. There is a chance, it was on the ballot, the Venom Truck Series will be here next season. Not a certainty, but I know what I voted for.
I know what I didn't vote for.
Well, we'll see about that. Coming to lap 21 here. Lehman has led them all thus far, but Saunders has been hot on his tail. Floyd, Schlosser, Nardone, the top 5.
Lehman with a good jump. Saunders going to be on the outside. Not the place to be into turn 1.
But if he can hang on, he'll have it into the left-hander here on Floyd. Moving Floyd out just a bit. Now Floyd will be back to the preferred positioning here as he's held on nicely. Who can get the power down side by side? Battle for second. Saunders.
Man, Greg Mall very squirrely over the hill.
Fresh tires for all these drivers. That's not a fun feeling.
Patton and Wang were side by side. Now Montembolt is through on Wang into turn 1.
Oh, JJ!
JJ!
Goodness gracious. Absolutely throwing it in there. But he made it stick. I don't know how. I don't know if he knows how either.
Hope he knows this isn't Formula Drift.
Yeah. And a couple times in the turn 1 there where he is really sent it around. That can't continue. Whoa, Scott Patton. Oh, my God.
I would be dead.
Yeah. I would not be far behind. We got to take one more look at that. Oh, let's back it up. And we went too far. Here we go. We're over the hill. Oh, that was a terrible look at that, but you could see where he was. Lucky to save that one. As off into the grass, that's Tyler Hesseling. Losing a handful of spots now. He'll tuck in behind Scott Patton. Now he's got Montembolt. And JJ. Oh, I thought he was going to send it 3 wide. JJ came to play tonight as Hesseling will hang on to 8th. Goodness gracious.
JJ looking to go back on Montembolt. Gonna think better of it.
And certainly, yeah, if you're only going to have one scheduled caution, make it early. Give these guys plenty of time to race it out. A little re-rack, a little restack, and a little refresh for a few of these drivers as well. To Mike Milfeld's point in the chat. Mike came very, very close to a victory at Circuit of the Americas last season, dueling it out with Andrew Schulte, a multi-time road course winner and champion of the Max 3 Truck Series. Congrats, a belated one, to Mike for winning the ARCA race a couple of weeks ago as well.
And one thing to also bring into play is that an early pit also just gives you clean air. Oh, we're almost 3 wide down the straight. Haynes, Rodolasso, and Laverne. Rodolasso underneath Haynes into turn 1. Still side by side. Haynes going to have the bottom now. Still side by side. Rodolasso going to ease out and slide right behind.
Taking the long way around, get you, if you do it right, get you a little slingshot. Just a little hill, little undulation, little banking, if you will. Get you around the long way. So Rodolasso will dip his tires off into the grass. 1 second lead for Lehman right now. Back to Saunders. Saunders now half a second clear of Dakota Floyd. Schlosser and Nardone the top 5. Greg Mall up to 6. Scott Patton 7th. Tyler Hesseling has now pulled back away from Matt Montebolt in 8th. Montebolt 9th. J.J. Wang right now well clear of Rob Haynes. Top 10 with a little gap back to the rest of the field. As Schlosser's opened up a bit of a gap back to Nardone as well.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a little bit more of a long play here. Drivers starting to stretch out some, not battle quite as much as that first stint.
Onto the rumble strips, little kick pot cam action for Dakota Floyd.
Greg Mall almost into pit lane unintentionally there.
That's not what you want. And it did say, actually, that he entered pit lane. Well, let's take a look at it. Yikes! Yeah, not across the commitment line, but he was certainly in the turn lane there. Damn. It has sent him the direction of Scott Patton now. Tires are already a little hot and bothered, as you can tell. You certainly don't want to give him an excuse to act that way if you don't have to.
Patton got a good run down the hill that time.
May have lost it there as the truck came out from underneath of him. I love this racetrack. This is awesome.
Oh,
whoa!
man.
Rodolasso just absolutely sailed it through turn 1, gets Rob Haynes out into the grass, and now Rodolasso continues to go through the grass. As now Mall, with his problems, drops 6th and 7th to Patton Hesseling. 2 simultaneous problems here. We'll go back and take a look here on the move for Mall. Just a bit long there. So Rodolasso all the way back to 15th now. As Laverne actually picked up 2 spots on that exchange, got through Rodolasso and got through Rob Haynes. So Laverne is up to 11th, with 3.5 seconds to catch up to J.J. Wang. Little by little, Saunders is starting to clock in slightly faster laps than James Lehman. Lehman was on the VGN Weekly podcast this week. It was a great sit-down, 45-minute, very punctual interview. But he said his biggest problem, and you and I have talked about it a lot, is going too hard too early. And as we continue to watch the lap times rolling between him and Saunders, he's certainly doing a better job of that, but is he going too hard right now?
Yeah, that last lap, he was about a 10th quicker. That gap's still hovering just under a second.
He's got the purple lap right now as well. Nobody else has gone sub 53 other than him. Problems for Kyle K-Bash. Looks like he is just towed back to the pits. Lap truck moving out of the way. Not 100% sure who that was. Let's go into the back of the field, or towards the back of the field, rather. Sisler and Widener both above the cut line right now, battling with Jack Watts also above the cut line. So this has some implications as, speaking of which, there's Heath Smith off the track. And he'll drop all the way down to 17th now.
Oh, and still getting loose.
As, whoa, Charlie Widener. Call him Charlie Slidner there. And that was close. Also showing an off track for Scott Patton, but he's still in 7th. As here's what happened to Heath Smith, just a little hot into 1. There goes 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, now Montenbolt gets too hot into 1, and JJ will look underneath him.
Nicely done for JJ. He is clear. Way to take advantage. He's up to 9th. Damn, I just got hit with it. That's what she said in the year of our Lord and Savior 2025. How about that? Mr. Milfeld is on it tonight. Good stuff. Now look at this. 3 cars under a blanket all of a sudden for the race lead. Tighten it up through traffic. Here is Schlosser with a move on Nardone now, and Matt Schlosser's up to 4th. Lots of shuffling all of a sudden. Lap 32 was the lap everybody decided they were going to turn it on or turn it off.
I would not be too surprised if we're starting to creep up on that pit window here when everyone's going to start looking to come in.
Well, I'm sure if these drivers are not looking at their lap counter, they are thinking, God, let it be time for the pit stop already, because it does not look like anybody's very comfortable right now, other than maybe Riley Laverne. He just made a pretty convincing pass on Matt Monsenbalt to get up to 10th. So Riley is moving forward. Everybody else is just moving together.
And it looks like Floyd is struggling through the final half of this lap. I mean, he dropped about half a second off of Saunders' bumper.
Yeah, you need to be planted over those final 3 turns in this lap with the big hill and then the downhill section with the 2, somewhat fast right-handers. If you don't have any security in your truck or you don't have any confidence in the way it's driving, you're going to lose some lap time there on the back half, for sure. But also, this could be just Dakota Floyd doing his thing and backing off the pace a little bit to try and save something a little bit more for these next handful of laps before these drivers decide to bring it down pit road. Shout out to Matt Short hanging out with us. Absolutely. How we doing? Glad we're enjoying some truck racing here on a Thursday night. Go back to JJ Wang, who is closing in on Greg Mullen. Now Wang,
Oh, no.
This time the real Formula Drift. Back on track, still in 9th, still trying to hang on to it as the tires are all hot and dirty now, and there goes Riley Laverne. Man. Wang had just caught Brandon Weiss, but also Greg Mall, and that would have been for position. And you know, Kyle Zittle in the chat, I have to agree with you. Would love to see some more truck racing here at Lime Rock Park. We will see. Something tells me it'll either be Lime Rock Park or Portland, and I think that's a win-win, honestly. Excited either way. The thing I'm going to be mad about with the Venom schedule is if the next iRacing season we get the Miami Autodrome or Mexico City, and that's not on the Venom schedule, I'm going to be upset. Because it can't be on the Venom schedule. It's going to get finalized here before those tracks would get released. That'll be a bummer.
Yep. There is always season 11.
Yeah. Amen to that.
I tell you, one driver who probably wouldn't mind seeing this track on the Venom schedule is Matt Schlosser.
You know, I have to agree with you. Zittle says no and thank you. Well, at least he's polite about it.
I tried to sneak a dirt track in, but I was shot down.
You know, our DMs to Kyle probably look about the same then. You know, there's always season 11. Oh, Laverne is getting bottled up here in lap traffic, and JJ is back on the hunt. Whoa! And Laverne with a big blink, and he winds up right on JJ's front bumper with Brandon Weiss there. That was sketch galore. Hot dog.
Yeah, Weiss gonna play a big pick. Monson-Bolt now gonna look alongside.
Oh, I mean, JJ is... I mean, this feels surgical at this point. He has got to get past Brandon Weiss. And Weiss going to run it off into the grass. So JJ loses 2 spots as they're banging doors behind them. Haynes and Rodolasso. But JJ will lose 2 spots in a bunch of time trying to get past the 65 truck, and now has that much more work ahead of him to get back into the top 10. To point out as well, last time by, Heath Smith came down pit road. He was around the top 15. So we may not be too far off from pit stops here in the next handful of laps for the leaders if they want to split it right up the middle after the stage caution on lap 17. Zachary Groover ahead of James Lehman, another driver fighting to get above the cut line. And, had the right to fight for position on track there, but did not take it. Will allow the leaders through. Lehman now nursing a half a second lead. Saunders a second clear of Floyd behind him. And Floyd has Matt Schlosser catching up here pretty quickly. Straight to jail. Okay. Sure. Put me in Venom jail. That's just what I call interviewing John Kay on a Tuesday night. Just kidding, John. Rodolasso, Monson-Bolt, Sisler. 2 Matts and a Math all right here together. They did have Charlie Widener in that group with him, but now Widener is going to make the move to pit road. That is a very tricky pit road entry as well. We'll see if we can pick off an entry with our leader to show how suddenly that comes up. Looks like Rod Minton as well. So he was not too far from going a lap down.
Here comes Nardone as well from the 5th position.
And that may start the domino effect up the chain here. Schlosser will look to cover off Nardone, and everybody else will look to cover off Schlosser. So it is on. Scott Patton, Tyler Hesseling also down pit road, so that's 3 out of the top 10.
Here comes Rodolasso as well.
Saunders look for the undercut here. They're both out. Here comes Dakota Floyd, and that will bring them down next time, surely. Floyd from 3rd. Schlosser now takes over provisional bronze as Lehman and Saunders still navigating through lap traffic. It doesn't really get any easier. The short track of road courses, at least in terms of NASCAR. Just over or just under a mile and a half, depending on who's doing the measuring. As we switch to laps to go, 25 to be exact, coming to 24. Will this be the lap our leaders decide to come down? Saunders making the move. Here we go. Look at how tight that is, and he has flown it onto pit road.
Big lockup there getting on.
Yeah, you'll have the ability to look. I don't, to make sure that he did pick up a penalty there. As, there's one off the track. That's Trent Drum, from the looks of it, just behind the leaders. So Lehman and Schlosser are still out there. J.J. Wang is still out there. Out of everybody that's come down pit road, Ryan Nardone is cycled out. He's out ahead of Floyd by quite some distance. That is what 2 laps will do for you. But he is in the absolute thick of lap traffic right now. Lehman out of the final turn. He's staying to the right side, and he will be bringing it down pit road. Schlosser's going to follow. Clean entries for both of them. Zach Saunders now out ahead of Ryan Nardone by about 5 seconds. So it'll be between Lehman, Schlosser, and Saunders. Jack just dropped on Lehman with the first pit stall. And for the first time tonight, Zach Saunders is to the lead, and it is going to be a commanding one. Nardone is through on Lehman, and look at this mess that he just got dropped into. I mean, there are trucks everywhere.
Looks like we've done had a restart.
That was Lehman getting through on Nardone, 4th position. Still waiting on JJ here from P2 to make his way down pit road. As Dakota Floyd now will get through on Ryan Nardone. Goodness gracious, what a mess.
Trucks stacked up. The Schlosser here going to have to get back through on Nardone.
JJ Wang tried to come to pit road, and he overshot it, and now he is super slow down the front stretch. And there goes Lehman through, and Lehman has locked him up! And he's around in front of Floyd. He saves it. Little contact. Schlosser is through on both of them. Schlosser, Nardone, and now Floyd through on James Lehman. The only mistake he's made tonight, and it is going to cost him massively.
Schlosser, a big benefactor from that incident.
Yes. Well, everybody was making noise on that one except for the Silent Assassin, who will pick off a couple. JJ gonna try this pitting thing again. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. Much better that time. All right, well, we'll take a look at that real quick. It's already in progress, and of course I've lost my buttons now. Here we go. We'll back it up. There's J.J. Wang. I mean, you could see him coming up on him pretty quickly. But, I mean, Lehman's already missed that corner at this point, trying to split between Sargent and Wang. That's a save. Then the contact with Floyd, that's no longer a save. Dakota is off in the grass. Lehman's still fighting for his life here at this point. Wow. So now this has set up Zach Saunders for quite the showing up at the front of the field. 7.8 seconds right now. Schlosser trying to find a way through on Chris Sargent. Wally Turheimer and Brandon Weiss as well. James Lehman has since got back through on Ryan Nardone, so he's up to 4th. And now battling straight away with Dakota Floyd. He is not going to be a happy camper there. He'll definitely want that one back.
Man.
There's Sargent.
Oh, Chris Sargent.
And I want to say as well, Chris Sargent, the model of consistency this season, still fighting to get into the chase. Just trying to survive this race here. So a little bit cleaner air right now for Schlosser than Saunders. But theoretically, any truck that Saunders passes, Schlosser will have to do the same. 7 3/4 of a second to play with up at the front of this field. For two part-timers, Zach Saunders, Matt Schlosser, Dakota Floyd still fighting off James Lehman here to try and hold on to 3rd. Golly. That was a wild one. Nice.
Definitely had lots of action, all packed into one corner.
You could kind of see the lane that Lehman was going for there, though. I think he just misjudged how fast JJ was going. It felt like he had to really sail it in to split the gap between the two. And, that was just unfortunate. Big lap for Schlosser last time by. About 7/10 quicker than the race leader. But needs to pretty consistently be eaten into this gap to have a shot at it. Still 7 seconds behind. Back to Nardone, trying to fend off Hesseling.
Hesseling having a good comeback after falling down pretty far there.
Yeah.
Earlier in the race. I think he was back to like 11th.
Driver a little bit out of shape in front of them. That is Weiss. We see one in the background there way off the track. Not sure who that was, but they at least kept it out of the barrier. Floyd still managing to hang on to 3rd. Oh, problems for Justin Bell. Wide into turn 1. He'll give up a few spots. Gap is still coming down. 6.5 seconds. Schlosser consistently faster than the race leader. 16 laps to go at the stripe, but these are fast laps. Remember, this will be done in less than 15 minutes. So Schlosser's got to stay on this pace, and that is not easy, especially with all this traffic that's between them right now.
It definitely is not.
Right on board with the silent assassin, the lone wolf of Tuesday nights. Current points leader in the Venom Truck Series.
Gonna be right up on
Yeah.
the rear bumper.
Not too sure that isn't Charlie Widener.
I do believe so, yes.
And that is Jack Watts in front of them. So Widener and Watts fighting for every position that they could get for some extra security above the cut line. We'll see how urgent Matt Schlosser is. He's lost multiple tenths here on this lap. Gap is ballooned back to 6.5 seconds. Oh, and there goes Watts wide.
Watts off.
Widener will pick up that spot, and Schlosser will pick them both off. Now there are only 14 drivers on the lead lap. Well, I guess they were already a lap down because Schlosser's not the leader. But still, only 14 drivers on the lead lap. Next up for Saunders will be Bill Paradise.
Schlosser was 2/10 slower that lap.
Given the circumstances, that's really not that much. I mean, everything is going to help here in the long run, but I mean, that just goes to show how fast Matt Schlosser is right now. He is rocking and rolling. Got the gap back down to 6.2 seconds here into turn number 1. Time is running out. Lehman back nose to tail with Dakota Floyd into lap traffic. And again is Jack Watts as Watts gets loose and makes contact there with Lehman. Oh, and Matt Montalban over the jump is around and into the barriers off the right side of the track.
Man, Montalban was having such a good run.
Yes. Let's take a look at this one. Montalban trying to get back through on J.J. Wang. Wang had just gotten through on him for 11th and just got light there over the hill. Oh! He hits it on the dismount, but actually sliding to the wall, he doesn't make any contact. That was as good as it gets given the circumstances. That is usually big-time damage, if not the race ender. So that was well managed by Montalban, who was just falling a lap down to Zach Saunders on his way back up to speed. Gap is now under 6 seconds. Schlosser continuing to gain on Saunders with 12.5 laps to go. Take a look back at Scott Patton chasing down Nardone. That is for 6th.
And Hessling not too much further up the road.
Nardone got through that section a lot cleaner than Patton. So Nardone threw on Heath Smith, who was just trying to make it to the end of this one. Hessling got through that section much cleaner than both of them.
Lots of back and forth here, but this gap to the lead down to about 5 seconds.
And Schlosser is setting a good pace here. He'll have to contend with the people's champ, Bill Paradise. Traffic just going to keep on flowing for both of them. Floyd and Lehman still battling here for this final podium spot. Been an eventful night here at Lime Rock Park. Next week we are at Pocono for the penultimate race of the regular season for the Max V's TNC Home Designs Truck Series. Quite the stretch. All the way through the rest of the season, to be honest. It's pretty unrelenting. But excited to get back to the Tricky Triangle next week for the first time in a long time here on the channel, other than Daredevil, which is its own beast. Back to the real Pocono, if you were.
Bolt off the track.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm sure he's just excited for this one to be over here shortly, but still inside the top 15. Schlosser is hit a bubble here, 5.5 seconds behind, and that is about where he's stuck for the last 2 or 3 laps. So the control has swung back in the favor of Zach Saunders. If you're watching along on the ESPN stat tracker, I think the win probability is probably creeping up towards the top of the window here for driver 97. But certainly we've seen things change very quickly. Scott Kimbrough last night, I said almost the exact same thing about him, and not a lap later he was wrecked out of the race of his own doing. So it's certainly possible inside of 10 to go. Whereas Lehman has made one mistake here tonight, Saunders has made 0, and that is what has put him at the front of this field.
Yeah, Saunders has been very consistent.
Ooh, Lehman gives Floyd the bumper, but it doesn't work. I don't think he meant to do that, but certainly it was laid in there.
And I know personally, following, especially on a road course, following that closely to another truck, you really can't see where your marks are.
No. Or where the front of your truck is. There's Floyd going wide, and the door is open, and Lehman is through to third, and he is driving it like he stole it.
Floyd gonna cross him over. Gonna look at it into 1.
Good run. He might be able to take it back.
But again, like you mentioned earlier, this outside through 1 just kind of slingshots.
Lehman can keep this positioning and be on the outside of the next turn. It won't even matter. He's already through.
Yep.
So Lehman back to third. So that's Brandon Weiss, or Trent Drum actually, stand off into the grass there. Saunders in control. Schlosser in second, looking for what will be his best Max V finish. As Zachary
Groover's
Groover,
off.
luckily he keeps it going slow. That had disaster written all over it for Schlosser.
Saunders now behind Rodoloso and Weiss.
Yeah, Weiss wise to the business at this point, moving out of the way. Rodoloso fighting to stay on the lead lap, though. Might fight a little bit harder, but does not have that truck underneath of him. And Saunders will sneak through.
Not too much time lost there.
No, and he's got enough of a buffer at this point. It's well within his control, as much as anybody's in control of anything here around Lime Rock Park. It's been a wild night thus far, and it's going to keep getting wilder as J.J. Wang and Riley Laverne are side by side, and J.J. really is in drift mode here, fighting for ninth. Oh, problems. James Lehman has crashed on the front straightaway, and the motor is grenaded, and that truck is crab walking, and Lehman is out.
Oh, man. Oh.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man.
That was as hard of a hit here as you are possibly able to have. That is left side tires off into the grass, and that thing just, it didn't want to live anymore. That went straight for the biggest, flattest static object on the track. Goodness gracious.
That's got to be one of the hardest hits of the year.
I mean, it reminds me of a hit that Kyle Zittel had at Long Beach in the Venom Truck Series. Coming out of the final turn there, he found one of the angled walls, and it shot him through the sky back from one side of the front stretch to the other. That's exactly what that looks like. Not a fun time. So that puts Dakota Floyd back to third, and he is on his own island here. 6 seconds up to Schlosser, 9 seconds back to Hesseling.
Yeah, so pretty spaced out here inside the top 4. Nardone being only about 2 seconds back from Hesseling.
Patton catching Nardone once again. Man, that was a hard hit.
Nardone and Patton through on Widener into turn 1. Still bumper to bumper.
Laverne and Wang are going at it here as well. Laverne has got that for the moment. 3 laps to go. It's all Zach Saunders up front. Schlosser and Floyd. On for podiums. Hesseling 2 seconds up the road from Nardone.
Oh, Laverne goes wide.
As there goes JJ through.
Oh.
I mean, JJ is getting his money's worth out of this set of tires. He is laterally abusing them. I don't think there's any other way to put it. He's grading him down to a fine powder. Can they hang on for another 4.5 miles? That's the question. Saunders with 2 to go. Schlosser again making time, but he is out of time. It's going to have to come from a mistake from lap traffic or Saunders himself to put the 400 back in the fight.
Nardone and Patton still neck and neck into turn 1.
Patton yearns for the bumper. He wishes to use it, but he must not. He's got another lap and a half to resist the temptation. Nardone not points racing. Patton is. He would love to lock himself into the postseason here tonight.
Saunders with 1 more to go.
Final lap for the race leader.
He does have a good buffer, however, being in that lapped area, has to be careful.
Final turn for Zach Saunders in just his 2nd appearance here on a Thursday night with the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. He is lighting them up, giving us a good scare. Saunders to the checkered flag. Oh, God. Whew. Okay. Schlosser in 2nd. Floyd in 3rd. Oh, boy. Finished runner-up at Talladega in his only other Max V truck start. Starts in 4th tonight and will finish it up top. Well done. Depending on who you ask, a really fun night here at Lime Rock Park, and I would imagine Zach Saunders is feeling that right now. It's the best news for Roush Fenway Keselowski today. Castrol Edge in 97. Whipping the burnouts here at Lime Rock. And he will put it in park at the stripe. Well done. Fun race here tonight at Lime Rock Park. We'll get to your full finishing rundown here. As always, got to go and press an extra button for literally no reason. But that is how they will finish after 66 laps here tonight at Lime Rock Park. Zach Saunders with his first career Max V victory. We'll talk to him. We'll talk to Matt Schlosser with his best career finish with the Max V CNC Home Design Truck Series in second. And Dakota Floyd on the podium for the second week in a row. Tyler Hessling and Ryan Nardone with their best career finishes as well, 4th and 5th. Scott Patton in 6th, Greg Mull 7th. J.J. Wang will finish in P8th. Riley Laverne, best career Max V finish tonight in 9th. And Matt Sisler will round out the top 10. 11th for Rob Haynes, 12th for Matt Rodolasso. It is P13 for Jack Watts. Tied for hard charger here tonight. Charge and Charlie Widener will finish in 14th. And 15th for Matt Montalbot after a slew of problems there late in this one. 16th for Heath Smith. Justin Bell will finish in 17th. Rod Metton, Nathan Carroll, and Chris Surgeon round out the top 20. Plus 10 for Zachary Gruber as well to finish 21st. 22nd for Bill Paradise. Billy Bumgardner's 23rd. Brandon Vease 24th. Trent Drum 25th. James Lehman will slide all the way down to 26th. He'll be mighty disappointed with how this one turned out. 27th for Caden Moreland, Wally Turheimer, Kyle Kabash, and Brad Slagle, the top 30. 31st for Peyton Bass, Ryan McRoberts, 32nd, Chris Voiles, and Chris Braley will be the 34 drivers who took the green flag here tonight. Justin Ritchie and Mark Jackson never made it out of pit road. So, I'll let the music roll here for just a second or two longer, and we will go in search of your podium finishers as we will get Dakota Floyd up here. Back-to-back Thursday night interviews. Last week's race winner will go P3 here tonight on the left and rights. Welcome back to the booth.
How's it going, guys?
Well, that was a fun race from not in the truck. 120-degree track temperatures, already a pretty low downforce situation going on here. That looked tiresome. How are we feeling?
Yeah, you're definitely right. I am wore out. The truck didn't know if it wanted to be tight, if it wanted to be loose. It was just a wheeling the hell out of it the whole time.
I'm sure you were happy to get the stage caution there on lap 17. I mean, you were in the thick of it for most of that opening run, but as bad as that one was, it feels like the long run was actually worse in the fact that you had lap traffic the whole time, and you were battling for most of that stint there as well.
Yeah, Lime Rock is just synonymous for being impossible to pass, whether it be lap cars or the guys you're racing around. There's nowhere for anyone to go, so there's really no fault on anyone. And it's when you can get out of the way or just run your line and we'll figure a way out. It's just not easy around here.
Certainly not. Joshua, what you got?
Man, Dakota, congrats on the podium yet again. Looking at the points here, Justin Michael not showing up tonight. Definitely looking to put you on top moving into the last race before the chase. It's got to feel pretty good to be where you're at.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Yeah, him not showing up, that definitely helped a lot, but I'm not 100% sure if regular season champ gets anything for the playoffs here, but if I can pull it out, that'd be good going in, good confidence boost going in the playoffs, so I'm definitely happy with where I'm at.
Certainly with the final two races coming up, it is Pocono and Michigan, and that will be a fun stretch for you, but you're on a roll right now. This was the one I think a lot of drivers had circled, and you did a great job here tonight. So way to come away with the podium here tonight. Let's get some shout-outs for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Always got to shout out the team first and foremost. Sucks Justin couldn't race with us tonight. I know he's been a little out of the weather, so hope he gets better and get back on track with us. Riley did a phenomenal job. He pulled out a top 10, so I'm really proud of him for doing as good as he did. He kept the truck in one piece, so he did great. And shout out to the league and all the admins, do a fantastic job. And I love seeing, even on road courses, such full fields. It's awesome to see everyone come out and just try to get better week in and week out. And shout out to you guys at the broadcast booth. You guys do a fantastic job. I always love going back and watching these. So I'm sure this will be no different. So thank you guys so much for what you guys do. And thank you to everybody that watches and supports me week in and week out.
Absolutely, partner. Congrats on pulling out the podium here tonight. We'll hope to talk to you next week at the Tricky Triangle.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful night.
And what a treat to be able to talk to Matt Schlosser on a Thursday night of all the nights of the week. Driver 400 is in booth 200 as the runner-up here tonight with Max V. Welcome.
Hey, thanks.
What a night for you. You were in the thick of it all night. Qualified, I think, 5th. Didn't leave the top 5. And picked up quite a few spots there in the pit cycle as well. I mean, this seemed like a challenging night, but a rewarding one as well.
Yeah, it was really tough. I mean, this track is so tricky with like how you have to finesse around some of the turns, and if you try to push just a little bit, you give up a lot of time. And you know, the last turn, especially if you overdrive that, you can easily go off, and then you've blown probably half a second, if not more. But yeah, I kind of cycled up to second. There was some chaos and pit stop stuff, and then I realized that 97 must have taken either no tires or 2, and I was kind of allowing myself to think I was going to catch him, but he obviously did a great job. And he said he took left sides, which was really smart because obviously all but one of the turns, I think, is a left-hander. I was debating taking no tires, and if I had, I probably would have been screwed with that. So either of my strategies wasn't quite good enough to beat Zach. So congrats to him.
Well, Joshua, what you got here?
Man, congrats on the podium on a road course. Fun being on this side of communications with you. But I mean, as we were watching that, and you know, you were riding around in 4th for quite some time, and then you and Floyd and Lehman had caught some traffic. And I mean, what's going through your head when you see Lehman running down in the corner sideways and everybody just starts scattering?
Yeah, my first reaction was I'm about to get in a huge accident, because it looked like everyone was just kind of like parked in the track, but they kind of gathered it up and slid off a little bit, and I was lucky to just kind of skate by. And then I was like, all right, I'm in second. Might have a chance at the win. I was really thinking how cool it would be to potentially get a win and get they've got these cool like challenge coins they give out for wins, and that would have been so cool. Plus to be able to notch another win on another Turn 200 series would be pretty cool, but wasn't quite to be. I definitely didn't have what I needed to catch the 97, and yeah, it was crazy. The traffic was really fun to try to navigate, but also frustrating. And it wasn't anybody's fault. I mean, there's really nowhere to get out of the way except off the track, it seems like. So that was a fun variable, but also really tricky. But yeah, all in all, it was a fun night.
And certainly doesn't hurt to be able to open up the notebook a little bit, just in case the Venom Truck Series is here next season as well. So good stuff here tonight. Congrats on the runner-up. Best finish here with the Max V on the truck side of things. Let's get some shout-outs going for you.
Yeah, shout out to James Lehman and the Max V guys for putting this league on. I don't race in it too often, but it's always a lot of fun, and I've obviously raced with a lot of these guys in Truck 200 and other series, so always a fun place to race. Shout out to Turn 200. Shout out to JJ Wang. He jumped in the race. I messaged him. I was like, hey, man, this sounds like a fun one that you might want to do. And he jumped in on last minute notice and snagged a top 10. So he did a nice job, and hopefully he had fun. And so shout out to him. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Definitely a JJ kind of night here tonight. Glad to get him on a Thursday, and glad to be able to talk to you at the end of this one as well. Go rest up for Joker Series tomorrow, and congrats on the P2.
Yeah, I gotta get my Hans device inspected for tomorrow. Make sure I don't get any more basilar skull fractures. So we'll make sure we're all good with that.
They are burning through them on Friday nights. Thanks for the time.
All right, thanks, guys.
It's a lot of fun. Well, now he went P2 in his first start with Max V, and now we'll go P1 in his second start. How about a 5-second victory here tonight for Zach Saunders with the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series? Welcome back to the booth. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, you were there running second most of that stint. Then all of a sudden, I mean, you were able to open up before all the chaos even happened with the second, third, and on back after the pit stop. I mean, you opened up a huge gap there on the pit cycle. I mean, how did you manage to get that far out front?
The good old left sides only. I took 2 tires only. I saw they was, I was wearing the left sides quite a bit in the first stage-ish. I was like, I was just doing the thinking in the head, and remembered to last year for a walk-in schooling race I did, and the next year I was like, 2 tires actually works out of track. Wears the left sides. The right sides really aren't that important. You got one corner, maybe 2 that are, to the left hand or that are left-handers. So,
Yeah.
Like, the heck with that. Just took the 2 tires, and it got it out to like a 7 or so second gap, and Matt got it down to 3 seconds. But I was, with the lap traffic and stuff we was going to encounter, I was like, it's going to be really hard for him to run me down from 7 seconds back, and just because there's nowhere to pass. It's such a tight track. We was taking chances on each other, just passing, lap cars, and it was, getting really close. Had all my passes came out of the final corner because of lap traffic and just hanging back and getting a run going into one. So, that was a really good race. I enjoyed the competition between Matt, Dakota, and Tyler and James. Yeah, that was some good stuff.
I mean, this is already a blisteringly hot track surface, somewhere around 120 degrees at one point during that race. This is already a very light setup around the undulation of this track. I mean, how does that change the balance, not putting 4 on and instead just sticking the lefts?
Oh, it was so much better. Like, for my driving style, it probably made it not have worked for someone like James, because I think he could rotate coming off the corner a little better than I could. So, but I mean, it just basically made it neutral. Like, you could just put it wherever you wanted to, and it was just, it was there, and you was going through the corner. So it was a really nice car to drive after that. And I mean, I still didn't have, I had over 80% on the right side still. So, I mean,
Oh, wow.
it was hardly wearing the right. So I think that was a good call to put the left sides on.
Well, Joshua, what you got for your race winner?
Man, congrats on the win. Had us nervous there out of the final corner, for sure.
You like that?
But, watching your racecraft through the race and making that decision for only left sides, how much preparation goes into a race like tonight where, I mean, you're running a vehicle that typically doesn't run on a track like this?
When it comes to the trucks at road courses, I really, really like them. They're a lot of fun. They remind me a lot of what I used to race on in RC car world. So, that kind of slight push, but it kind of turns on exit when you get back on the power stroke. It's just a fun vehicle to drive. It's just one of the best, I feel like. But just knowing what the truck will do and whatnot is part of that too. So just when I put the left sides on, I just told myself, just calm down, check what the gap is, and then just go off of that. So I saw that I had the 7 second gap, and I just put in nice, good, clean, consistent laps of 54-ish seconds a lap time. So it was, didn't want to do anything ballsy going past someone. It was maybe a couple of them were a little ballsy, but it's just let the car do all the work. I mean, I've told that to so many people, and you can't once you start even driving the car gets really upset. It doesn't want to do anything for like the next lap and a half because you get the tires all hot. So it's better just to relax, take the corner real easy, and just let it kind of just roll through the corner. If it's not taking it that lap, you just slow down a little more the next lap. Maybe it'll work out way, but just letting the car do all the work, letting the tires do the work is the big thing when it comes to something like this at road courses.
Well, I'll tell you this much. That truck was doing the work here tonight, and it will get the job done. P1 for you here tonight. Congrats. Let's get some shout-outs in before we let you go.
Thanks for you guys getting a good broadcast on. Thanks to James for putting on a wonderful league. I've had a lot of fun racing with the guys in here, a lot of close racing, a lot of good battles, and just thanks to the whole field there for being nice and clean and being respectful for the leaders and giving space when it was needed.
All righty, partner. Go rest up after that one and go celebrate a hard-fought P1 here tonight. We'll hope to talk to you again here soon.
Thank you.
Good stuff here tonight. First channel victory for Zach Saunders, and it's his first victory with Max V in his second career start. Lime Rock Park did not disappoint here tonight. 66 laps, and every single one of them had something going on. I'm sure these drivers are worn out, but from our vantage point, that was a blast.
Yeah, definitely. Did not disappoint. Usual Max V race. Always has action. Always has tight racing. Definitely going to have to save this replay and go back and study it just in case.
Oh, I mean, who's to say we won't be back here very soon? But I'm excited to get to Pocono next Thursday night. It'll be a while since we've had Pocono proper on the channel. Mentioned that we always have the Daredevil races at the Legacy version of Pocono, but it'll be nice to have the trucks back on the real Tricky Triangle next Thursday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Some racing between now and then. Go Squadron from the Super Series back on air Monday night from Road Atlanta at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. The chase for the Nathan Reynolds Cup continues next Tuesday from Bristol. The Jar of Honey is on the line from the None of Your Beeswax 200. And that will be fun from the last great Coliseum. Hope to see everybody there at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time for the Venom Truck Series. Wednesday night, ASRL is off. Next week, we'll see you in 2 weeks at Summit Point. I'm very sorry about that one. And that will lead us into Pocono next Thursday night. Thanks to everybody that was hanging out with us. Lively bunch in the chat here tonight. Thanks to Bailey Marie Motichek, as always. Thanks to Greg Mall. Thank you to Damian Dania. Thanks to Caleb Tipton for stopping by. Shout out to Brandon Groover, who I completely missed his chat in the middle of this race. So very sorry, Brandon. He was on baby duty tonight, so he couldn't make it. But Zachary Groover tied for the hard charger here tonight, so Two Brothers Racing was well represented here this evening. Appreciate you stopping by in the chat. Sarah Rose, thank you for stopping by. Mike Milfelt, Matt Short was here, Kyle Zittel as well. And appreciate everybody that was watching, whether you chatted or not. Really appreciate everybody. Thanks to everybody with the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. Thank you to the Max V admin team. Thank you to CNC Home Designs for their continued support of the series. And thank you to Mr. Joshua Motichek as well. That is all we got for you here tonight. Until we meet again, hopefully very soon, from Lime Rock Park, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long and congratulations to Zach Saunders on his first career Max V victory. Have a good night, everybody. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.